It was 1 a.m. when my phone buzzed with the kind of message every husband secretly fears, but pretends not to. "Don't wait for me tonight," my wife wrote, as casually as if she were commenting on the weather. She didn't bother to add where she was, who she was with, why she wasn't coming home, or why her tone sounded strangely rehearsed, like a line she had practiced in the mirror. I stared at the message for a long moment, not because I was shocked, but because deep down I had known something was wrong for weeks. Her late nights, her secretive smiles, her sudden need for space. Everything pointed to the truth I didn't want to say out loud. And instead of arguing or asking questions, I simply sent the photo I had been keeping in my drafts, proof of what I already knew, along with one line: "No one is waiting for you anymore." The picture I sent wasn't of another woman or some dramatic stunt. It was a photo of her half-empty closet, the suitcase I had packed, and the front door key placed neatly on the kitchen counter. I wanted her to see that I didn't need explanations, excuses, or lies. I wanted her to understand that the man who once waited by the window, hoping she'd come home early, no longer existed. Her read receipt appeared instantly. The typing bubble came and went 3 times, panic setting in before she could even send a word. I turned off all the lights, sat on the couch, and waited in silence for what I knew would come next. 7 minutes later, I heard the screech of tires outside, fast, reckless, desperate. The front door rattled violently before she even touched the handle. She burst inside barefoot, hair tangled, mascara streaked down her face like she had rubbed her eyes while crying, or worse, while being with someone else. She didn't look at me at first. Her eyes went straight to the closet, then to the empty shelf where my watch collection used to sit, then to the kitchen counter where the keys still lay. Her breathing hitched, shallow and broken, as if she had finally realized the consequences of the game she'd been playing for months. When she finally turned toward me, her voice trembled with fear and guilt. "Why did you do this?" she stammered, as if she were the victim, as if my leaving was the betrayal and not her disappearing at 1 a.m. I didn't move. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse her. I simply pointed to the security camera footage playing on the TV screen, footage she never knew I had downloaded. The moment she saw the paused frame showing her entering a hotel room with another man earlier that week, her legs gave out and she dropped to her knees on the living room floor. She tried denying it at first, shaking her head violently as if the truth would vanish if she refused to accept it. "I was helping a coworker. It's not what it looks like. I can explain," she whispered, each lie weaker than the last. But she knew I wasn't buying any of it, not after weeks of suspicious behavior and midnight texts that never matched her stories. I didn't attack her. I didn't insult her. I didn't even ask why. I simply said, "You made your choice. I'm making mine now." For the first time in months, my voice felt steady, stronger than her excuses. Her panic only grew when she realized the closet wasn't the only thing empty. I had packed important documents, the photo albums I cared about, and everything that belonged to me alone. My car keys weren't on the hook. My suitcase wasn't in the bedroom. The reality hit her like a slap. This wasn't a threat or a dramatic gesture. This was the end. She crawled across the floor and grabbed my hand, her voice cracking. "Please, please, please don't leave. I messed up. I know I did. Just talk to me." But all I felt was a deep, exhausted numbness. Then came the confession she had never planned to make. "It was just once," she whispered, then corrected herself. "Okay, twice. But it didn't mean anything." She said it like the number would somehow erase the betrayal. She told me he was just a friend from work, that she was confused, that she felt neglected. All the familiar lines unfaithful partners repeat in desperation. But every word only proved how long she had been lying, not just to me, but to herself. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't accuse. I stood up, walked to the hallway, and rolled out my suitcase. The sound of the wheels on the wooden floor broke her completely. She lunged forward, wrapped her arms around my waist, and begged through choking sobs. Don't leave! Don't leave me like this! I love you! I'm sorry! I'll fix everything! But her apologies felt too late, like a fire alarm sounding after the building had already burned down. She wanted forgiveness, but she didn't want to face the truth of what she had destroyed. Before I left, I placed one final thing on the coffee table, a printed copy of the hotel bill with her name and the other man's on it. She stared at it like a death sentence. I told her I wasn't leaving out of anger. I was leaving because love without loyalty is just suffering dressed as hope, and I refused to keep suffering. She tried calling her sister, her best friend, even her mother, but no one answered at 2 a.m. In that moment, she was finally alone with the consequences she had spent months creating. I walked out the door without slamming it, without turning back, without giving her the final glance she was silently begging for. The cold night air felt strangely peaceful, as if the weight I had been carrying had finally slipped from my shoulders. My phone buzzed again minutes later, but this time it was her calling non-stop, message after message. All the panic she once made me feel was finally returning to her. And as I drove away, I realized something. Sometimes, the moment you stop waiting for someone is the moment you finally save yourself.